So I love interacting with people on the day-to-day basis, and I love interacting with clients too. It's like that nice combination of being client facing and talking with people and still having like that organization managerial tasks that I'm very comfortable and love as well. So yeah, it's just stuck with me for many years now.
Do you get a kick out of working with strategists? I mean, you talked about not necessarily choosing that path, but sometimes it's nice to work with people who did and
Yes,
kind of compliment
because
them in
they're
some ways.
brilliant. They really make me think. So yes, I absolutely love working with them, and I love working with Haley and Lauren and Anne on the projects, and the collaboration that happens there. They really do want your thoughts and your ideas, because I do have like more conversations with the clients. So like having me collaborate on their work is a really smart move, but it's been really fun. They are just so passionate about what they do, first of all. So it just like invigorates me every time we're like reviewing a piece together, because they're like really into what they're presenting. But also just like their ideas just blow my mind away. I'm like, how did you even come up with this? Like, this is why I'm in account services, because I am just so like organizational and like admin task oriented.
To me, it's one of the best parts about what we get to do. We get a front row seat at a number of working with clients. So we get to see different industries, different types of how organizations function. I think that's fascinating. And then internally, we, have multiple disciplines here. People come from different walks of life. People are impressive at different things, and and because of our size, we get to interact with them. We're not separated by siloed departments or whatever. And so to me, it's just every day is far more interesting. I think sometimes we take it for granted, honestly, until you talk to your colleagues in other roles, and then you realize, oh, not everybody has it like us. Not everybody gets to interact with this type of groups.
Totally agree.
Is there any discipline here that you maybe have a preference, like you just really enjoy like catching up with them or observing how they work or that type of thing?
Oh, good question. Honestly, I think it is strategy. But I love our performance marketing team too, especially like the SEO team. Taylor and Frank are brilliant as well. And just seeing, because I have a lot of performance marketing clients that we meet with on a weekly basis too. So I do talk to Taylor and Frank on a weekly basis. So just all of their work is just amazing. The level of detail here is insane to me. They provide so much detail for the client. It goes above and beyond even what the client even requested. Provides more detail than anything that we could imagine, but the client really loves them. So I really like collaborating with them. But yeah, definitely the strategy team. I feel like it's interesting because I haven't done it in a minute. And getting back into it and thinking more creatively, and it's been really fun.
You talk about maybe overly detailed on things like SEO. Do you feel like clients expect that level of detail? Do you feel like we're educating while we're doing, like, how would you if you were talking to a new client and they said, hey, we're going to work with your SEO team, how would you set expectations for what that experience would be like, maybe as opposed to how they've done it in the past with other teams?
Yeah, I think it kind of came up recently too for one of my clients. I think they're used to more of just like SEO management, monthly management, and then all of a sudden they get a report at the end of the month or in the mid-month, and then that's it. That's all they really get from an SEO partner. But one thing that we're really trying to push is that we are more than that. We are like a working partner, and we're willing to meet with you and your internal team, because a lot of these clients have internal SEO content members or people who write blogs for them. It's like, let's partner, like, let's make this something bigger. Let us help you where there are holes in your internal teams, and then you can fill us in on projects that you're working on, and we can see how we can best improve them or help enhance them. So really going above and beyond in terms of just being a partner and not just delivering the normal amount of work on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah. I think SEO and even paid search as well. It feels like most shops have just realized that if we can charge less and kind of get by with the bare minimum, like there's plenty of people who will hire us for that. And that's kind of I think the expectation is we're going to pay very little and probably not get a whole lot out of it. Whereas frankly, we charge more, but we're very aggressive and we really feel like it's one of the most important marketing channels you can have. So why would we set it and forget it? Let's be really aggressive here and see it grow. But by the way, you have to pay for time. And with that time, you get really good people being pretty aggressive. I mean, do you think that comes through in the work? Do you see clients acknowledging that once we get engaged?
Absolutely. And I think that's why, even though I'm fairly new at Native, the clients that I have SEO with have been with us for a very long time because of that reason, is they are really happy with the services that we've provided and how much of a partner we've become. I mean, we talk to them on a weekly basis now, and it's been great.
Yeah, there's a few of them that we're super embedded into their team. I mean, we're not even working with just marketing. I mean, now it's expanded throughout the rest of the business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever worked in a client relationship like that?
That's a good question. I think I've never been I feel like here too, on some instances where we do work on performance marketing, we are treated as like a marketing partner, like an extension of their marketing team. And we do talk to a lot more stakeholders here throughout the company. Again, not just on their marketing team, but like we're talking to people throughout the company. I'm thinking of like USA Facts, for instance. So yeah, that is very interesting, being so engulfed in their work and having that many contacts, or just people interested in our work in general. Like some of our calls have like 20 people on them because they're all like tuning into what we have to say. And that's awesome. And I've not experienced that before.
Yeah, I think there's a few client teams where the word is spread that we provide a lot of education on our sort of consulting calls. And so that is like, hey, you might learn something on these. So we've been told that's kind of an unusual thing. But we've done that from day one. Like we are such nerds about this stuff. We love talking about it. And are we educating the client to probably do what we do and potentially take that work away or take it in-house? Probably. But if we have the choice between not talking about it and kind of being a little low key, I mean, we're passionate about it. We're going to talk about it at the risk of over educating. We're going to do that, I think.
Yeah.
I think the clients appreciate it too.
No, I definitely see it. Especially with USA Facts in particular. Love working with them.
So Kelsey, you've worked at a few shops. What about Native? Well, I got a couple questions. You can answer however you want. You probably came in with certain expectations. I'd be curious to know like how your expectations before you joined, and then what the experience of joining, like, was it exactly as you expected, or were there things that were different?
Well, this is a good question. I think because I have worked at a few shops, I came in with the expectation, or at least the thought like, hey, this is going to be different. Even though the titles and the roles might be similar at different places, like you never really know how the department functions until you start. So like coming in with an open mind was like what I wanted to do. And I'm glad I did, because I was blown away by all the positives that were here, which I was familiar with because I knew a few people who had been through here or people that worked with you guys, and I just only heard positive things. So it pretty much matched up with what I actually saw when I got here. But like one of the things that stood out was the people, especially from a remote employee. So being fully remote, and I unfortunately got to come visit for a few days for my first week, which was great. So I got to meet people in person. But even after that, I'm saying I was just blown away by how inclusive the culture was, and how even though you're remote, people were contacting you on the daily, reaching out, seeing how you were, offering help, setting meetings with you to make sure like my onboarding was smooth and that I was completely up to date, even with things that were happening in the office. And of course, I know that COVID kind of made all businesses across the board try to incorporate this remote culture. But I've seen that as COVID has like come to end and people are reintroduced to offices, sometimes that remote mentality kind of shrinks. But here it has remained steady. Like we still have so many activities for everyone to participate in. I feel very connected to everyone that is in the office or out other remote workers. So that was like one of the first things I noticed.
I'm happy to hear that. When we went from all remote, well, all office to all remote, then basically sort of majority hybrid, but then still a good number of people who are full-time remote. I tried to set the expectation like we're probably going to be really bad at this. So remote team, be patient with us, know that we know this about ourselves and we're going to try. And hybrid team, hey, this is going to take work. Like we can't just think, oh, the majority is here and so we can't work at it. It will fail. And so I hope that helped in some way, because it helped us understand like this is going to take some real intentionality to make this all jive and feel like one. And I still think we have progress to make. We can always be better on that front, but it does seem like it's working, right? It feels like we're productive. People are feeling included. We've got great talent in both situations. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I felt very, very welcomed. And yeah, I feel like even the remote folks like me, I need to have it more intention to like reach out to other people or set meetings on other people's calendars. So I think it's a two-way thing, definitely. And everyone can continue to improve, but I felt welcome from the start. So
isn't it nice before you join a job that you know people who've been there or are there or have maybe been clients or whatever, and then you can kind of get the inside scoop before you join?
Yes. Shout out to a couple of friends that I did have here. I was like, give me the inside scoop. But I'm glad they did. I'm glad I reached out to them because when I joined, I was so excited.
You didn't hear anything bad about us?
No, I really didn't. This is
not a single thing.
No, this is coming from colleagues too that like old colleagues that I like mentioned that I was joining Native, and they're like, oh my gosh, I've only heard good things about them. Like I love their work. And I was like, that's what I've heard. Again, I was talking to a lot of people throughout the Kansas City area who work for other agencies or have since moved from Kansas City and they work in a completely different state, but they remember Native. And they were hyping everything up. So but I had not heard a single negative thing.
Man, it takes a lot of work for that to be the case. Nobody's perfect, and we're definitely are not. But to ask around a number of people and everybody say positive stuff, man, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean,
you guys.
Well, it's this team. I mean, the team really puts in the effort and they care. I think it shows. But man, it's awesome to hear that feedback because I think that's so important to us. I think your reputation is everything. And if that's not strong, you're not going to be much for very long. So it takes a lot of work, and you're a part of that. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
What are some of what's a good day for you in account management? What's a good day where you clock off and you're like, okay, that was a good one?
Good question. I love a day, or I feel more fulfilled by a day that actually has meetings. Of course, I like actually consulting with a client or presenting to a client, etc. So that a day with meetings or presentations or even collaboration time, like even if it's like a weekly touch base or tag up, any face-to-face time I can get with clients is a good day. And I feel like anytime we can work through really complicated feedback or consolidating 6 people's feedback into one for a creative team to make revisions. Anytime a larger problem is solved or simplified for a team, I feel very fulfilled that day. Like, okay, we did some good work today. We were a good middleman.
That's cool. As you look forward, are there things on the horizon that you're looking forward to?
Ooh, yeah. Getting new clients Of course. I love being introduced. Just recently, I was introduced to 3 new clients, and it's really fun and exciting for me. I don't know if I'll get any new ones soon or again, since I just got 3, but that's always something I look forward to. Getting to dip into new industries is really exciting for me. I know some people really like staying down one lane and working on one industry, which I've done that in the past. And it's beneficial. It has so many benefits to it because it applies to this client and this client. But getting to expand your horizons across many different industries, I feel like it's just, one, keeps work interesting, but 2, allows you to learn so much about so many industries. Like the amount of research I do just to stay up to date in that industry is just so fun to me. So that's something that always excites me.
That's cool. I'm the same way. I always love the new chance to like see what we can do for somebody. I just think it's like addictive. If someone comes to us and they're like, we got this problem, do you think you can help? It's like, man, that's the best. It's like, yeah, I do think we can help.
I think we can. Yeah, it's fun. And I love solving like a variety of different problems or working towards a variety of different goals. So like in order to do so, I guess you have to work throughout different industries, e-commerce and education, tech, have all of them right now.
Yeah, our deal is we don't want to be soloed to the point where we are so narrow that we just recycle ideas. I've done that before. It is a challenge. You provide a lot of value, but it also starts to feel very boilerplate. And after a while, you start to lose good talent, and because they're just bored to tears. And so our deal was, we're not going to work for anybody. We'll narrow it down. We'll narrow our services down, but we're not at the risk of stunting our growth. We'll do more work that's more interesting because we actually think we can be more effective that way.
Yeah, I agree. Love that strategy.
Yeah, it's been, not everybody agrees with it. There's critics that say, oh, you need to trim off another industry or two. We're like, yeah, but our team likes it. You know, whenever I ask the team what they like most, variety is one of the best one of the words that come in. So if variety keeps the best people, we're gonna have some variety.
Well, I agree. Easy. I'm one of those team members.
Oh, good. Well, good. If you were talking to an industry friend who was on the client team, or maybe somebody who was looking for a new job, is there something that how would you describe Native if they were considering either hiring us or working here?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I would say 2 different things to different audiences. But one overall thing is, I think it's important whenever you hire an agency that they're fun or that because fun equals creativity, that they're creative, that they're themselves, that they're still professional. But look for a team that is excited to work with you and is excited and passionate about the work and is super creative in everything they do. And also find an agency. If you're looking to work for some agency, I look for those attributes as well. I also really appreciate the size we are. For companies looking to work with us, I think it's important because we're really all ingrained in each other's work. Nothing skips a beat here. It's so easy to reach out to each other. Your work stays top of mind on all of our plates. But also, if you're looking for a job, I feel like this size is really beneficial because the culture is so strong. People are so friendly and so nice. You don't feel like you're just another number here. You're like really part of a team, and that your voice is really heard here in this size. We constantly meet, like I'm talking to the CEO right now, but like we constantly have communication, and you appreciate our opinions and what we want out of the company too. And I think that's hard to find at larger places.